Okay, let's talk about capitalism again because I love talking about it. So, like I said before, capitalism requires empty vessels. You know what I'm saying? So, as we sit up here and we have these conversations about how a majority of Americans are unintelligent, they don't know the details of what they're talking about, even their general sense, their wherewithal is pretty lacking, and most of them are in survival mode. Although we know all of these are consequences of capitalism, I don't believe we and you could truly grasp it. But I just wanted to add another perspective, the empty vessel perspective, because capitalism is of an ideology that you are never full, you're never satisfied, your self-esteem is always at an all-time low, and you need something to help you escape and or get you off of some type of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, whatever it is, any chemical that can be fulfilled. Capitalism is there to fulfill it, right? Because you assume that it's empty. You assume that because there is nothing going on, that something must be wrong. So it's all apart, and it's all apart. So with that being said, with people being unintelligent, that is the empty vessel. That's the empty vessel. You know? And because who better to sell to than somebody that is at an all-time low, that is at an all-time low, that needs their next, like their next dopamine cycle, that needs their next dopamine, next serotonin cycle. Who better to sell to than somebody with a complex that needs it all and feels like they can have it all? Who better to sell to? Who better to sell to than a person who doesn't know what's even in the ingredients? Who better to sell to? Tell me right now, who better to sell to? Who better to sell to than somebody that is just trying to make it to the end of the day, tired and just trying to make it to the end of the day? Who better to target? Who better to target? And that's really all it is. It's just like a whole bunch of people making prey, a predator making prey, and continuously funneling and cycling out prey. It's a continuous cycle. And although it's dead and it's reached its peak, and mostly everybody knows that all of what's going on is pretty pseudo, and they're trying to jump in on a train that's already left, already bound, already gone. The bandwagon is already full for literally just about anything that you could do. Who better to sell to? That's just that's just what every time I just think, like, and not only capitalism, but religion also plays a huge part in this as well. Religion also plays a huge part in this as well. It operates in just like capitalism. Religion, capitalism, same thing, except from an emotional experience type thing. And you know what's and therapy. But you know what's funny about that? You know what's funny about this is that I think pale women would have excelled better at the whole religious thing than the pale men. But I digress. And like, as far as like their attributes go, and what they conquer, as far as what their attributes go and what they conquer, and how they can gaslight and be evil. I'd have to give it to pale women when it comes to psychological bombardments tactics. And I feel like they would have definitely excelled in that, like religious, like conquering, you know, of the mind. But anyways, yeah, so religion is one of them issues. Religion is one of the ways that empty vessels are created. Like, for example, think about when's the first time you went to church, and why were you like a baby getting baptized? Why were you a child sitting in 3-hour long sermons that you have no idea, hour-long sermons, 2-hour-long sermons, sometimes all day? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes all day, depending on, you know, what religion you're a part of and that you study. Why were you a part of that? Why were you a part of that? Because you're an empty vessel. And around the ages between 5 and about 12 years old is when you can actually start remembering things. It's when you become self-aware that you actually exist and that you can affect the things around you. Before then, you ain't even remember. You would just be running around, jumping up and down, doing everything that you can't even remember. Just little glimpses. For those people that have like that agoraphobia or something like that. Not phobia, but where you can keep mental images. Yeah, no worries. I'll post what the word is by the time this is done. But yeah, I just like it comes back around to being an empty vessel. You know, like your self-awareness starts to happen around that age, and religion needs your self-awareness and your stability. Also your stability. You realize what keeps you stable, and it needs that. Religion needs you to have some sort of safety and security net as a 5-year-old to be that of a church. Are you understanding it now? So when you get at your all-time low, where are you going to go? Because that inner child starts talking to you, and it's like, oh, well, maybe you need to be in a church. We having a hard time. Maybe we need to be in the church. Do you see what I'm saying? Inception. It's crazy.